Doom, 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 doom. Okay. I told some friends of mine that I had beaten this game, and they were like, "Oh, this game exists? Really? We need to see it!" So, I'm doing an informal walk around on it. This is Lumberjack Dynasty. I have beaten the game and unlocked all the best equipment and things. I did not build this house. You can build things in this game, but only things that are part of the plot, where you need them to go. So, this little thing over here, you can drive all over the map in it. Let me show you what the map looks like. This is the map. It's an area of what might be called, well, it's probably supposed to be part of Canada somewhere, but it's reminds me of East Tennessee quite a bit. There's no real town in the area. It's just little areas where they occasionally have small stores scattered around. So this is my uncle's farm area, homestead. When you first arrive in the game, you are asked by your uncle and aunt, who live over in that area, by the way, to fix up the homestead area, which is one of the first things you can do. You come in with the ability, with a chainsaw. They'll give you a chainsaw pretty quick, and you come with a tool kit and a way to repair things, like an automatic nailer. You go around repairing things. You can repair things better than this. I've just done the minimum amount of repair for the game. If you want to do better repair, then you'll have to use plank pallets like these, which I've got in my brand new truck here that I carry around. So, for example, let's see if I can do this without accidentally entering the truck. Yeah, okay, so if I wanted to repair this part, I have been told, even though there are other types of wood in the game, I have been told that it doesn't make any difference what kind of wood you use. I have also unlocked the ability to refinish and paint things, but I haven't tried doing that yet. Anyway, when I first got here, this place had gaps all in it, and it was just completely run down and nasty. So, alright, here's my, this is my cat. I guess he's still my cat. Yeah, Typhoon. The game names him Typhoon when you buy him. I haven't fed him in a long time, and he's supposed to go away if you don't feed him, but that doesn't happen. The only purpose to have a cat is he guards the pantry, which is down here. And aside from having a special thing in here that you can get when you first arrive that gives you a bunch of food, the pantry stores food so that your wife will cook once you find someone to marry. And you don't want mice eating the food, so you get a cat. But in my case, I got a cat anyway, because I like cats. I also bought a bunch of chickens after finishing up the hen house here, and a rooster. The rooster will occasionally make new chickens, but if there's not room for them, they just get sold. And every day the chickens lay eggs, and you come over here and pick up the eggs, and you say, well, what do you use eggs for? Well, you can sell eggs directly at stores, or you can go can the eggs, boil them and can them and use them as food, or sell them for more profit at stores, a little more profit. And eggs can also be used in recipes for dishes that give you even more health, restore even more of your health, or can be sold at a greater profit. So I've just grabbed all the eggs there. I'll show you how that works. What the guys at Grogheads wanted to see was the chainsawing. We'll get to that presently. There's the kitchen, so I have enough apples. I can make apple jam. I can make canned boiled eggs, paprika and sweet vinegar. You don't want to waste that. The cookbooks allow you to do various things. I don't have enough stuff to make anything at the moment. Although I'm fixing to harvest a bunch of zucchini and paprika, and we'll see how that goes. There are 3 apple orchards on my uncle's land here, which is now my land, because part of the storyline is you earn enough money to buy the land from your uncle. I repaired up the greenhouse, and the greenhouse allows me to buy things, which I'm going around now and harvesting the paprika, which has been growing here for a few weeks in the game. You want to try to keep it so that it's comfortable in here but not wet, especially if you're growing zucchini and paprika. There was some rain before I slept last time, before I loaded the game, so that's why it's overly wet in here for some reason. You can dry it out somewhat by opening up the windows and giving it some time to pass. Alright. There's no reason, except for that place, there's no reason to really close any doors. You want to close that door sometimes because it'll dry it out. You don't want it to be too dry either. Alright, we'll go back here to the kitchen. And here we go, farmer's casserole. I've already gathered a bunch of mushrooms out in the wild, and you can also buy them pretty cheap too. I've got enough here to make 130 forester's casseroles, which are the best thing to sell at stores out of all the recipes that you can generally unlock. So if I get a chance, I'll sell those off at a store somewhere. It makes about, well, it won't be quite $8,000, but it'll be pretty close. Alright, so out here you can see the second apple orchard, and there's the third one over there. There's some shrubberies and things growing around. I could get out my chainsaw and level them out and get the weed eater and mower and mow out the stuff, but I decided to leave it kind of rustic looking as it wasn't really going to help me to do anything. I bought some beehives pretty early in my career. They help the apples grow better. So does the scarecrow. And the beehives will occasionally produce honey, although these seem to have produced nothing. They produce honey really slow, and honey is extremely expensive to buy. This area, let me show the map again here. When you start off the game, you have the right to harvest trees in this area that you own, and also this little area over here, which is a tutorial area that you'll learn that the game sends you to get your first to get the chainsaw and cut down a few trees to start with, and learn how to drive and pick up the trees and move them around. Having lumbered out this area, you can beat the game pretty easily if you're taking the opportunity to cook up Forester's casserole while you're lumbering out these 2 areas, and then these 2 were the ones you started with. And I haven't even got all the trees out of that. I did get all the trees out of here. He's like, well, once you put down the trees, what happens? Well, eventually late in the game, you get access to buying these things. This is a stump grinder. You go through and grind the stumps of the trees you cut down, and then you can take a tree planter. Oaks are by far the best tree to plant because they will bring you the best profit when you use them making things. This area, oh, there's a for sale sign, you take it down. You see, I got social points by doing that. Well, social points are a social credit system. One social point is like 50 cents, so 2 social points is $1. And you can get discounts on things you buy sometimes by doing that. It can be very handy. The reason this area is not for sale, this was also owned by the uncle and the aunt. This is their lumber mill. This is a forklift. You only start off with an old truck, which I don't have around at the moment, and a chainsaw, and you will go around the map doing missions for people early in the game, and they will give you, you can see some random missions here, bush trimming, that kind of thing. Usually cutting and repairing stuff, and they will give you old equipment that you can use to make things that you can go to do your career with, and then as you level up to a certain degree, you can go around and buy new things, which are just, you know, instead you can buy a better tractor, sell off your old tractor, buy a better tractor, that sort of thing. These are dryers. As you walk close to them, they'll start to open automatically. I've got, these things are getting close to dry. Humidity 18, 19, that one's already at 0. You want them down to 0 before you can use them making stuff with. These are planks made out of spruce. There may be a couple of oaks in here too. Yeah. No, some of those are pine. Okay. I don't know why I did that. It's better to do spruce and oak, but there you go. This building holds the equipment for turning logs into planks, and also for turning logs into logs. And I don't know why that's in the game really, because okay, you dump things in the river and eventually it will come down here. Sometimes it takes a while. The closest dump off point's right over there. You can see where I'm looking at there. Eventually the logs will float over here, they'll be picked up and run through the system, which is always on. Currently I've got it set to turn off this direction, which will run along this thing and go in here and be chopped into planks, and the planks will be stored here until I pick them up outside the door over there. But you can also click a button here and they'll send them off this direction instead, and the logs will just be positioned out, they'll just be plopped into a thing outside. And I honestly don't know why, because logs have no use in this game. You can sell them, but you can sell the planks for much better. So I thought maybe there would be a place where you could use the logs in construction, but that never happens. Anyway, that's where the logs get dumped. You can see I've got some trees here, but let me zoom in just a little bit here. You can see where I'm looking at this area right here. I will never be able to legally log trees from this area, or this area, or this area. There's only certain places you can legally log trees, and this will not be one of them. And if I got out my chainsaw and I zoom in, I'm using the right click, you can see that there's a red thing down here. Yeah, you can cut, I can cut this down, but it will cost me like $2,400 to do so. Which would be, I'm definitely not going to get $2,400 out of this tree. I'll be lucky if I do. So you have to be careful about cutting down trees that you don't actually have the right to cut down. Let's see, where's the closest area? The closest area that I haven't logged yet that I own is this, that I don't own is this area. And I'll just turn right around and go trotting over there. I'm using the, holding down the left key to trot here. So here's the code is set up so that these cars will usually stop. But I think the code has changed recently because I've been hit by cars quite a bit last few times. So here we are, we're in a forest. You can see on the upper left over there it says you can press enter to buy this forest. Inside this forest, oh, it's not too bad, $5,000, I've got plenty. Or I can use social points for half, that's fine. We'll do that. But I want to show first. This forest has a lot of dead trunks, which I think are mostly pine, and 8 spruce. This is not the best place to do foresting. Pine is good for remaking things, and you can sell stuff. You can sell pines, but it's better to make and sell things out of spruce. I honestly don't know why these are here. I think they're just decoration. Piles of wood chips. I'm holding down the right button so you can see it gives you sights. So there's mushrooms I can pick up, there's suntail, there's herbs out in the forest. I can mix that up with honey and make things to sell. So, do I want to do this? My brain's like, no, I don't want to do this. I'm going to get something that's actually worthwhile. But I'm just showing off how the mechanics work. So, if I hold down the left button while I've got my chainsaw and I run into the shrubbery, it automatically takes out the shrubbery. It's not gonna bug me for doing that. I am, however, going to buy the forest so that I can demonstrate how to cut down things. Alright, I can now cut and process these trees. So, the trees are going to fall in the direction, more or less, keeping gravity in account, that you cut away from, so these will get in the way of your vehicles if you don't cut them down. and it also makes it hard to see where the pieces of the tree fall. So here's what it looks like when you cut a tree. I'm going to try to aim it in between those other two trees. Here we go. So it's a little mini game. I move my mouse back and forth, and I try to keep the saw blade within the traveling line. There they are. Really nice sounds for a falling tree. They differ somewhat too. They're not always the same. So turning on my engineer's sight here shows me where I can cut away the branches. I've got to cut away some of the branches. Again, it's a simple game. It's a simple mini game. Just hold the left click where you need to. There's some more to go. This one's pretty tall pine. We'll get several logs out of this. You're always going to get at least 2 logs. It's going to get more. And the very tip will sometimes be useless. It'll fall away and go. Alright. There. Now, if I wanted to, I could even this huge log, because apparently I'm a Sasquatch, I can just pick this thing up and take it where I want to. But of course, it makes more sense if you're going to pick these things up to get a log picking trailer. So, I happen to have a log picking trailer right over here, not too far away. It's easy to teleport between the vehicles too. You just go to the map and use the map to teleport between the vehicles. But this way you can see more scenery. You can tell I've already logged all that hillside across the river. I bought that land and logged it off, and you're like, oh, there aren't going to be trees there. Eventually I would go back and replant oaks in there and just pack it full of oaks. So the trees will come back. Alright. I'm going to come back later with this thing and use it to pick up my logs. There's also a trailer that looks larger than this, which is pulled around by the tractor, but that adds a little extra stuff to it, and I'm not sure it's really worth it for the extra logs that you might be able to get in it, so I just keep this. What the guys at Grogheads really wanted to see, there's where you can see more of my planks that I've made here from spruce. Oh, this thing is a part of my factory that I inherited and fixed up, and what it does is, as logs go through here, on the other side of the building there will be mulch stored. You can't really see it from here, in a place, and then you can get your tractor and a trailer and dump the mulch out and carry it and sell the mulch for extra cash. Here, when you cut a log, it puts chips into the wood chip silo. I've got 4,700 kilograms stored in there right now. So I can get the tractor and trailer and come over here and dump this out and sell the wood chips, but if I just leave it alone, the game will automatically, as long as this is fixed up and running, the game will automatically transfer the wood chips into this thing, and the chips will automatically process through to make chipboard. And there's some chipboard, and as long as the chipboard's on as long as these pallets are on concrete, you can kind of kick them around easy. Usually, though, I pick them up with the truck that I have. And it may take a minute or two, but another one will appear. Boop, there it is. So chipboard is good for extra cash. You can go sell it for extra cash, and there's a furniture factory that you can buy, which I have already bought, and once you have the furniture factory, you can take the chipboard and the wood that you have and go make furniture with it and sell the furniture off for extra cash. Lots and lots of extra cash. Although I haven't bothered getting far enough to where the chipboard is useful for making furniture. I just really didn't need to. Alright, now for the thing that the guys at Grogheads really wanted to see. Here it is. The crazy log tree chopping thing. Yes, the cobra. Now you saw how I was chopping those trees earlier, and then of course once you chop them down, then you've got to go through there and trim them up properly and chop them up, get them ready to be picked up and used. side too, by the way. I think that I'm in the area that I bought. Yeah, I'm good. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to, this is just where I dropped one. So let's drop another tree here. Move it out there. I'm holding down my left button and using my mouse to grab it. Okay, cut down the pine. Well, alright, let's do that. Oops, I dropped that in the road. Oh no. I'm going to be blocking traffic. You can see it's also shaving off. It not only cuts off the tree in like 15 seconds, boom, that whole tree's done. It is awesome. Here's what it looks like outside when you do that. Y'all might as well just find another way around. I have no pity on you, AI. You're not smart enough to do anything. Alright. That's good enough. Oh, right on my car. Oops. Unfortunately. Ah. Interesting. It had enough sense not to drop it on the car. Okay. Again. What do we got here? That's another trunk. Cut down a pine. It's pretty therapeutic. Hop out here and teleport over to my... So we're gonna go clear the road. Are there other things to do here? Well, not anymore. I've finished the plot, so there's basically nothing else to do here. The plot generally involves helping people clear out their land, cut trees, find sheep, repair, fix up houses, that kind of thing. If there's somebody who's in construction, he needs help assembling houses sometimes. There was an evil mayor. He's in jail now. You can, however, elect to try to work with the evil mayor and mess over your friends if you want to go the evil route. Oh, I guess that might be nice and pick up these logs. I wonder if I can do this around that. The physics engine is not the absolute best in the world, but the guys who are developing this are getting it better every once in a while. They're getting it better as they go. This is the second game they made, I think. The first one was called Farmer's Dynasty, which allowed you to also had a bootstrapping up your career as a farmer, going out to an area that your granddad, a farm that your granddad died and left you. It was all messed up. At the level I've gotten to, once you own a vehicle, you can take it and spend some money upgrading its equipment. so that runs faster on the road, doesn't use as much fuel, brakes faster. I haven't upgraded this thing. Didn't really need to. Okay. Is there something? Oh, that was another thing of logs over here. Guess I should go get those. The camera, as you can see, is just a little bit freaky and wonky. I'm using the mouse key to move around most of it, but sometimes things will get in its way and it'll kind of spaz out. And I'm not taking the time to figure out the most efficient way of stacking these logs. I'm just grabbing them. Side of the factory is where not the chips, but the mulch comes out. You can take the tractor. Yeah, I haven't gotten around to painting this orange yet. It's still kind of day glow yellow. But you can paint your vehicles once you own them. Being from Tennessee, I figured this is kind of in the hills of Tennessee, or it might as well be, so I painted volunteer orange. Or hunter's orange. It's a little bit darker than volunteer orange. Alright, so I'm here at the drop-off point. I can drop the logs off in the water. There might see some fish in the water. Some schools of fish might show up. You can fish in this game. There's two different categories. There's lots of different kinds of fish, but they come in two different categories. The kind that you fish by tossing the rod out and having it be around, and the other kind by trolling or spooning. This water acts like a river system, but it's really one of several lakes. This is the largest lake. There's no in and out, but there's a current or whatever, and the logs will go from here. None of them will go past my mill. They'll all go in. But there's several places around that you can drop them in. Like here's a place. You drop them in here, and they'll make their way to my. I honestly don't know how it does that. They make their way back to the mill somehow from here. I have to drop some on here and follow those one of those days, because I don't understand how that's going to happen. The thing to pick up my stuff is here, right? So I drop it in here, and then, okay, fine, they go here. You're supposed to be soaking them so that they won't burn up the saw when they go through, right? Well, if they're coming from this way, how do they turn around and go in here? That doesn't seem to make sense. One of these days I got to do that and find out. So you can drop them here, you can drop them here, you can drop them here. I think those are the only places. There's nowhere else around here to drop them, or around here. And if you look, you can see some other lakes. Here's a lake system, here's a lake system with a bit of these are waterfalls, I think. Another lake system, some small lakes. This one's polluted, and there's no way to unpollute it in the game, but it's part of the plot. Another small lake, This is part of the larger lake system. And then the other largest lake system is here. So, there are no animals. Well, let me rephrase that. There are animals in the game. There are deer and oh, there's the fish. There are deer and wild pigs. Let's see if I can get them to hit that thing. Oh, the school disappeared. Okay. But there's no way to kill anything in the game. You can't go hunting, and there aren't any predators out here. This is a very peaceful game. Ha! This thing's blocking me from getting out. It's a very chill sort of game. You can come out here, and I've had some stuff in my life where I needed to just kind of not think for a few weeks, so it was a good game to just kind of pull out. I didn't have to be shooting anything or thinking too terribly hard about what I was doing. Come on. Take the bait. Maybe too close. By the time I get there, I'm not going to be able to get out. That would be amazing. There it goes. You can see the logs slowly working their way over there. Come on. Fishing in this game is crazy. Alright, let's see what the logs are doing. Yeah, they're not quite there yet. You can swim. Going in the water won't kill you. In fact, I don't think there's anything in the game that can kill you. Even hunger. I've got food 85 right now, 91 sleep. When you get too exhausted, you won't be able to do various things, including picking up 1,500 pound logs. But you can rest by sitting down at benches. Eating doesn't rest you, but eating does improve your food condition, which again, if your food gets too low, you won't be able to do various things. Okay, here we go. Let's fix and grab this. The most restful way to rest is to sit by a fire pit, turn on the fire pit, and sit down next to it. It rests you really fast, and you get back up to 90 rest, whereas anything else will only get you to 80. I feel like that might be a little too big. It doesn't matter, but I mean, look at it. It's that. Okay. And this, by the way, sends the stuff over. Now, if I had it set correctly, it would go over here, and then it would go up those things into the log pile. But instead, it's going to roll off in this direction. There it goes. The debarking is going to go in the silo over there. And when it turns, as you can see, it's going through the saws there. Turn it into planks. And the excess chipboards here go into the chipboard silo outside. That thing. And then it's going to and then it's going to go in there and chop those planks into more planks. And it stores it outside until I'm ready to use it. I've seen it store quite a bit. So, and it just does that automatically. Now, it goes again. Let's see it going in there. And it knows how to automatically sort the things so that they should be spruce or pine or whatever. The forklift is only useful for picking up these crates, these pallets, and putting them in the dryer. For anything else, the crane truck works. For picking those things up over there, for moving them around place to place, for picking them up out of this, for carrying them where you need to go if you're going to build something or repair something. Oops, go in the buggy. Platform truck here. Again, if I wanted to, I could change my view so I'm inside the truck. I've really juiced the platform truck up so it can go almost 50 miles an hour. Take just a moment to hold off here. And this is the guy who buys... Literally anyone who can buy and sell thing will buy anything off of you. And there's really no difference in price. They say sometimes, you know, bring me this stuff and I'll pay you extra. So far that's... I haven't seen that in the game.
Hello there. Welcome to my store.
Yeah, that's my character. He's the original character, Roman. There is, I think both the character models are still Roman, and no one ever calls him Roman. That's just a fan nickname, I guess, or the developers. At this time, there has been a new development which allows them to put in... what is this thing behind me? I need to check that out. Oh, those are other stores on top of the mountain. Where you can start with two different character models. One of them, like this, is better at working outside, and the other one is better at interacting with people, and so getting better prices.
So, what do you have in your store?
Almost everything is vocal, and the vocal acting this is better than in Farmer's Dynasty. Okay, this is what I'm selling. Farmer's Casserole. I'm fixing to sell this guy 130 Farmer's Casserole for 5,148 euros. Whoop. There they go. So what am I going to do with my pine? Well, I'm going to take it off this direction. No. Oh no. Am I caught? No. How? Good grief. Fortunately, if you do get caught, if you get your vehicle stuck somewhere, you can call a tow truck and it'll automatically pop you out on the road. It costs you like 100 euros. Gasoline. You can buy gas directly for your vehicles there if you're low on gas, but it's better to buy it in bulk. They'll send it to your house and you can put it into refill your vehicles at your house. Now if I go here, I can drop off my pallets and sell them one by one to this guy. There's a friendly bug in the game where as long as you have one board left in your pallets, you can take the pallets over here where you're normally supposed to sell them. Not here. That's where you dump. Bark and chipboard. Raw chip wood chips. You can jump in here and sell them directly off. But you would get that full price if you had just one board left in the stack. It's not supposed to work like that. It's a friendly bug. Oh. So, if I wanted to... I didn't make the turn. It's impossible to harm anybody. So you can run them straight over with your car. It'll be fine. Yeah, that has a lot of spruce. I should be logging that place. I can buy it. It's right next to my factory. Sometime in Chapter 2, the furniture factory comes open and you can buy it. And the furniture factory will print straight money for you. Now there's a bunch of things inside the factory. You can see them here. I'll even walk around a little on the inside. This is all decoration. None of this does anything. It just looks cool. Over here is the only functional part of the factory. And you open that up and you tell it what you want to buy, what you want to build. I think you get intermediate furniture blueprints from doing one of the plot quests. Cradles are by far, unless there's other stuff that gets unlocked from somewhere else, cradles are by far the best thing to make. You can create one piece only or order furniture production. What this does is it makes ready to assemble furniture. I don't have anything actually in the store to make. Oh, I've got 40. I've got 40, but it's not quite enough. I need 60 to make a cradle, but I can sell that for $2,080. Oak I can sell for 60 oak boards. I can sell that for $3,120. So this is by far the best money in the game. And people have quipped before that it's not quite true that once you get the factory you don't ever have to cut down a tree again, but it's pretty close. One thing you want to, if you can keep your patience up, use pine planks to buy the furniture factory with, and save all of your spruce and birch and oak, especially this oak and spruce, and then use that to build those cradles, and then take the packets of cradles. It's just a shortcut. Up the road here to the furniture store. Which is just up the road to the left here. And drop them off here, and boom. We've got instant profit. It is also possible to go to a hardware store nearby, buy your own planks of pine, come pre-dried, take them to your furniture factory, make intermediate level cradles out of them, take them to sell, and just keep that loop going. It's slower in some regards. It's faster overall than cutting down trees and doing all the stuff you need to do to it to make your own planks, but it's not as cost efficient. But as far as time efficient goes, it's the best time efficient way of making money in the game. So, let me go over here. See if I can get to the highest point in the game. Actually, well, what I ought to do is get in the dune buggy, I guess. Oh no, what's that? It's very similar to Stardew Valley, in an abbreviated sort of way. The basic concept is like Stardew Valley or Harvest Moon. You show up in an area and take over the ailing farm or rural business of your relatives, and go around and make friends with people and find a wife to marry. But there's a lot less plot things to do. In fact, there's almost no plot things to do in Farmer's Dynasty. There's a lot less plot things to do in these games, even this game, compared to Stardew Valley or Harvest Moon. But, you know, it's a start. It's the developers have hit on a good idea, and we're looking at kind of their first attempts at doing. I wonder if I can jump that. I guess I can open that up. We're looking at their first attempts to get things done in this general genre. They currently have Medieval Dynasty in alpha, so I'm waiting for them to get that into full release. I'll definitely be picking that up. Take a little shortcut here. Does it make sense to buy this compared to Farm Simulator, the Farm Simulator series? The Farm Simulator series is really polished and has a lot of stuff. This is one of the places you can buy vehicles at, by the way, and I've sold some old vehicles there. There are two vehicle buying places in town. This that thing's not as good as the one I've owned. If you're actually interested in the simulating of the farming and even the lumberjacking, farm simulator is better. They've got a lot more experience doing it. They don't really have plots per se. They just do things on maps. You set up maps and you work the map. And there's lots and lots of fan-made maps. And the lumberjacking in that game is probably also technically better, maybe. I haven't seen it personally. For the path up the mountain here. I think I passed one of the paths already. But in that game, you would be, if you went to do farm simulator lumberjacking, you would go onto a map set in East Tennessee or wherever, and lumberjack out in an area or two and get it ready for planting, and then you would plant crops there, and then you would sell your crops and bootstrap your way up across the map. So, but there's not really any story to it. There's not really in Farmer's Dynasty either, but there's more interactivity in what's going on. And then this game has an actual storyline. It's not very deep, but it's there. And it gives you the ability to go around and do things. There's also some abandoned plotline pieces, like this thing I'm going to right here. I say abandoned, maybe one of these days they'll activate it, but I think this is the highest point in the game. We can see most of the map here. We appear to be on an island off the coast of West Tennessee. It's really more like an island off the coast of Canada, I'm sure. You can buy things here if you need to. Just not a lot. So this is a ski jump. And there's a ski lift here. And supposedly part of the plot was, hey, the mayor, we sunk a lot of money into making this ski jump, but for some reason the mayor is not letting us finish it off. He's just kind of putting it in his pocket and not let us do anything. We're probably going to go out of business and go broke just because we got nothing to do here. And so I'm like, oh, okay, when I become mayor, then I can get the ski jump working. Well, no, apparently not. But that's not really part of the game. That would be something that as the mayor you say, okay, get it going, and somebody else would come along and do that. You wouldn't. But I kind of understand that. But it would be nice to have a cutscene showing that these things work now, and then you could come and go do that yourself. There's also a tramway around here somewhere. Let's see if I can off on this side of the game somewhere. Yeah, maybe beyond sight. There's no way to really get in that store and do anything. The tramway is off that way, I guess. It must be beyond the draw distance. But there's a tramway. It goes over the valley, and it's also has the same problem. Hey, the mayor decided to not bother letting me finish permits and stuff for this, and so I can't make it work. I've sunk all this money into it, and I'm probably going to be broke. Well, I'm the mayor now. Let's get it done. It'd be good for the economy. Nope, not going to happen in this game. But, now, to be fair, the main part of the game is lumberjacking. That's what you're supposed to be here for, cutting down the trees and processing them. That's the sandbox for lumberjacking, and everything else is just kind of there to flesh out other stuff that's going on. You need food, so you can get food from various places. You can buy milk cows and collect their milk in the morning. There is a little bit of farming that goes on. Obviously, there's a lot more farming going on in the Farmer's Dynasty game. the weather does change. It does not ever snow because the game doesn't end exactly at the start of October, but it immediately warps into the start of April, I think. So it just skips over the winter and really all the fall. Wow, I drove so fast, I think I may have driven past that. Oh, here we go, yeah. I just logged those areas, so that's why there's no trees being drawn in. Somewhere around here, there's a tower. I think it's here. Somewhere north of here. Like, you can hear the engine going on here, but it doesn't rev or anything. So the games are still kind of a work in progress. Still, this is less expensive than Farmer's Dynasty, which has been out longer. There's the tramway up there. Electrical station for the tramway, I think. Oh, that is actually the tramway. Is that tramway going to work? I doubt it. Nope, it's just decoration. Would have been nice though. Like I said, somewhere around here there's a tower. I know because the last thing you do in the game before you beat the game is construct this tower for viewing. Also, not too far away is the designated waifu of the game. You can court and marry just about any woman in the game, but there's one woman out here who your aunt, I think, wants you to marry. And she's a witch, kind of. She's an herbalist, a pharmaceuticalist. But she has these. She's kind of a flower girl witch, I guess, in a way. She's got little Egyptian symbols and things on her. She won't be here. I'm looking for the tower. Where is the tower? There's a resting spot. Oh well. So, this is the game in its completed state, such as it is. There's obviously there's more to do. I've completed all the plot things. Like you can see off in the distance here, those areas down there that look like new buildings. I went through and made all those. This bridge, I made this bridge. That was one of the last things I had to do to beat the game, was make this bridge. And hopefully that gives everyone a good idea of what the game is like. It is normally $20 on Steam. They go on sale with some regularity. I think it's worth it. I got my $20 out of it. But you need to be aware the second chapter grinds hard. You're supposed to pay off your uncle in order to take over the his business. So you're out cutting trees and sending them to your factory and getting them dried out. Meanwhile, supplementing your income with stuff that you can grow and find in the forest. And some things like paprika, you you can't buy anywhere. There used to be an aggro store in this game, like there is in Farmer's Dynasty, where you could buy seeds and plant in your greenhouse, but they took that out of the game because it was making it too fast, I guess. And so the only way to get seeds now is to go on missions where you find people's sheep, and they'll give you some random amount of random seeds, of which there are about 12 kinds in the game. And really, all you want zucchini, which you can buy just regular zucchini at the store too if you need to, and paprika, which you can't buy at the store. So you have to save scum, and right before giving them back their lamb, you save the game and then give them the lamb, and they say, "Thank you, here's some seeds, some random seeds." And if it's not zucchini and paprika, you reload and try again. There are little chests scattered throughout the game. I saw something over there. There are little chests scattered throughout the game which you can find, and they have better recipes in them, I think, as well as some loot. And they respawn every once in a while because people will go back. People in non-player characters in the game will go back and put stuff in the chest every once in a while, and then you'll steal it from them, I guess. I was going to look around and see if you can tell where there's mushrooms and herbs going in the game, because you'll see deer and such eating out there. Some nice waterfalls. Well, it was a fun game. I put a bunch of hours into it, probably enough to finish all of the Batman Arkham games. Don't entirely regret it. I don't regret it at all. I needed the break and have something to do that I didn't have to think about much when I was doing them. It wasn't very stressy. I do kind of think of it like an OCD simulator. Maybe an OCD instigator.